Riley said the part that made her feel crazy was not that Nate ignored her. That part was normal by then. He did not like the story. He did not text. He did not even show up in the viewer list she could actually see. The part that got under her skin was a public Venmo memo at 10:48 at night. Nate paid a woman named Kelsey $14, and the memo said, "For the second straw." Riley stared at it for so long that her phone dimmed in her hand. Maya, her roommate, leaned over the couch and said, "That is your phrase." Riley said, "No, it is a straw. I don't own straws." Theo was on speaker because Maya had already called him, which was unfair but useful. He said, "Before anyone starts building a murder wall, say the whole thing." So Riley did. 3 months earlier, she and Nate had ended up at a diner after a party in Austin. It was one of those places with chrome edges on the tables and coffee that tasted like it had survived several wars. They were not official. That was the whole problem. They were together enough that people noticed when they left the party at the same time, but not together enough for Nate to call it anything in daylight. At the diner, they ordered one chocolate milkshake because Riley said she only wanted a sip, and Nate said that was always a lie. The waitress brought one straw. Nate asked for another. The waitress forgot, so he handed Riley the straw and said, "Fine, you get the first straw. I'll wait for the second." It was stupid. It became their joke anyway. For 2 weeks, every time one of them was late, the other one texted, "Waiting on the second straw." Then Nate disappeared into that soft, modern version of disappearing, where the person still exists everywhere except in your messages. He watched less, replied later, said he was not built for anything serious right now. Then he started appearing around Kelsey, not in a hard launch, nothing clean, just a sleeve in a brunch photo, a second coffee cup, a tagged group shot where he stood close enough to explain and far enough to deny. Riley did what everybody says they will not do. She checked. Not every hour. She would have defended herself on that point, but enough. On Thursday night, she opened Venmo because she was paying Maya back for tacos. Nate's name was right there in the feed. Nate paid Kelsey for the second straw. Maya said, "He told her." Theo said, "Maybe." Riley hated the maybe. The maybe was worse than the answer. She opened Instagram. Nate had not viewed her story from earlier that night. He had not liked her last post. No message request, no follow movement, nothing. That should have made the Venmo memo feel smaller. It did not. Because at 11:19 p.m., Kelsey's Instagram bio changed. Riley only saw it because she had already done the thing she was ashamed of doing. She clicked Kelsey's profile. The bio used to say, "Austin, Pilates, bad decisions." Now it said, "Second straw girl." Maya made a sound like she had been physically pushed. Riley whispered, "She changed it." Theo said, "For how long?" Riley screen recorded. She refreshed once, twice. Then she waited, not breathing normally, which is embarrassing to admit, but true. 11 minutes later, the bio was gone. Back to Austin, Pilates, bad decisions. Maya said, "Okay, that is insane." Theo said, "It is weird. Weird is not proof." That line made Riley furious because he was right. A public payment does not prove what happened at dinner. A bio change does not prove who told whom. Instagram does not hand you a secret list of normal profile visitors. If somebody looks at your profile and does nothing visible, you do not get a little notification from the universe. That is not how any of this works. But Riley also knew the opposite mistake, pretending all timing is meaningless because certainty is unavailable. The Venmo memo was public. The bio change was public. The timing was public. The motive was not. That was the line. She wrote it down because if she did not, her brain was going to run straight through the line and start inventing dialogue in Nate's apartment. 10:48, Venmo. 11:07, Riley sees it. 11:19, Kelsey bio changes. 11:30, bio disappears. Maya said, "Do you think Kelsey knows about you?" Riley said, "I think Kelsey knows a version of me." That was the sentence that changed the room. Because Riley was not picturing Kelsey as some stranger anymore, she was picturing Nate telling the diner story in a way that made him charming, maybe making it sound like a random joke, maybe leaving out the part where Riley sat across from him in a red vinyl booth and believed, for one stupid hour, that a person could be inconsistent and still be honest. Theo said, "There are boring explanations." Maya groaned. "Nobody invited boring explanations." "I am invited because you called me," Theo said. Nate could have told her that phrase months ago. Kelsey could have made the second straw joke herself. Riley could be attaching ownership to something generic because it hurts. Or yes, Kelsey could be looking. Riley looked at the screenshot again. "Looking where?" she asked. Theo did not answer too fast, which she appreciated. "At visible things," he said. "Your profile, his profile, public feeds, Venmo, stories she can actually view. That is the difference. Do not turn it into hidden certainty." Riley wanted to throw the phone across the room, not because Theo was minimizing it, because he was making it usable. The next day, Riley tried to be normal. She went to work. She answered emails badly. She bought an iced coffee she did not want. At 6:12 p.m., she walked past a diner, not the diner, just a diner, and saw 2 striped paper straws sticking out of a glass by the window. That was when the petty part of her woke up. She took a photo. No location sticker, no tag, no caption that said, "Remember this?" Nothing that would hold up in court as bait, just a cup with 2 straws. She posted it to her story and put her phone face down. Maya lasted 7 minutes before asking, "Anything?" "No." "Anything now?" "No." At 14 minutes, Kelsey viewed it. Not Nate, Kelsey. Riley stared at the viewer list. This part was visible. This part was not a guess. Kelsey's account was right there under the story. Maya said, "Oh my God." Theo, still somehow on speaker because apparently this had become group litigation, said, "That is a real visible action. Still not a confession." Riley said, "Can I have 1 second before you ruin it?" "No."